Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and today we're reading When You Get Bullied by me. So let's get into it. Bakugo. He tried to pretend he didn't care when he wanted to punch them all in the face and have them all fly out of the stratosphere. And eventually, he realized that he could at least do the first part of that wish. He had waited until it was lunchtime, knowing that it was their favorite time to strike. He was not one bit wrong, finding you pinned to the wall as he hurled insults and punches at you.
Hey there, you better stop whatever the hell you're doing right now, or you'll be the ones crying today.
He threatened, scowling. Everyone in UA knew his reputation, and it served him well. Your bullies went pale, hesitant, before you punched them in the face, kicking them away. But he got in trouble for this? Maybe. Does he regret it? Absolutely not.
Are you okay?
You looked up at him, blushing a bit, yet still nervous as you nodded. Thank you. I didn't expect you to help at all. He chuckled a bit in return, and you blushed brighter.
It's nothing. They threw your lunch away, huh?
You nodded, a bit sad at the mention of your wasted lunch, and he gave you a smile.
Let's have lunch together then, and maybe get to know each other's names. Yeah?
You giggled shyly, nodding. Yeah. Midoriya. Izuku liked to have as many people as he could. It made him happy, and it meant everything to him to see the smile of those he saved. But what hurt him the most were the things that they had gone through you. It hurt him so much that he couldn't prevent them from being in so much pain. And for that, he aims to work way harder than he originally did. And yet, with all that, he never expected you to hide this from him. He had found out about it a little too late, because you were now in a hospital bed, not even daring to look him in the eyes. He never blamed you for it, and he could never make you feel bad after what you went through. So all he could do was hold you in his arms and hope you felt alright. The next day though, he tracked down the bullies and gave them a very stern talking to, letting them know that they were very close to being thrown behind bars. They never dared to touch you again because of how scary the look he gave them was. If looks could kill, they would have been already dead. Sero. He would be extremely protective after finding out, and would make sure to be with you whenever you're close at all times. Eventually though, once he comes back to his senses and calms down a bit, he finds a much more effective way of protecting you. He taught you lots of self-defense tactics, and even signed up for courses for you, just to make sure you would be safe when he couldn't be there to protect you. The first few days after knowing about what happened, he spent them with you, just cherishing you and giving you all the love he could, because God knows you needed that. Todoroki. He got on to what was happening pretty quickly. He knew your parents, and he also knew how much you loved them, and just how much they cared about you as well. So it couldn't be them. So he had devoted some of his time to finding out what was truly bothering you to that extent, and what he could do to stop it. When he did find out, however, he wasn't pleased. He was going to give them hell, and that he did. He found them, then froze them for a long while, as he watched in satisfaction, bitter words flowing out of his mouth, as he threatened them and watched their faces go white in fear. It took a lot of convincing to make him melt the ice. and he was glad to know that they had gotten very sick afterwards. Kaminari, he would be extremely weirded out at first. You? Bullied? His precious cool YN. What was there to even bully? He had to see it with his own eyes to believe it, because even you didn't tell him. He only found out through Mina, and just thought she was just joking. And he wished she was. But there you were, crying, trying to tell them to stop, but they wouldn't listen to you. He stormed over to them, telling you to get back, and electrocuted them all, glaring. Don't you ever dare hurt my YN, okay? If you ever hurt her again, you'll regret it. They scurried off before you could even continue, and he picked you up, peppering your face with kisses, as he apologized for not noticing sooner. Kirishima, he almost teared up, out of sheer guilt. He loved you to the moon and back, and he would do literally anything just to make you happy. So having you cry in his arms as you told him about that support student bullying you all the time, it hurt him, because he was right there when you were hurting, and he did nothing about it. But he would now, and he did. He went to the person in question, considering beating them up, but then he settled for talking to them, confronting them about their wrongdoings, but eventually he found himself hitting them because he insisted that he deserved it. It was all so wrong. How could they? How could anyone say that? He ended up getting detention for a week, but that smile on your face and the happy tears in your eyes made it so much more worth it that you wouldn't mind doing it all over again. Hawks, you're his secretary, which meant you had to look pretty all the time. Being the secretary of the number 2 hero, you'd always done your best to make him look good, especially because of able to question him. But apparently, your co-workers thought otherwise. They always made fun of you and your looks, and their words were always painful to hear, because you knew you could never measure up to them and how beautiful they were. And this was another instance of this. You had got a new outfit for work, and they were making fun of it, while you looked shamefully at the ground. However, this time was different. Hawks was watching and waiting until he couldn't wait any longer. He wrapped his arms around you gently, giving you space to pull away, smiling at you. I am sure you were complimenting your outfit, weren't you? She looks absolutely beautiful in this one. The girl stared, dumbfounded, then nodded, quickly before leaving, too embarrassed and weirded out. You were bright red as you looked up at him, shy, and you blushed even brighter as you heard those words uttered out of his mouth. Wanna go out with me tonight? Aizawa. He was enraged. Literally, when you confronted him about it. One day, he was furious. But not at you. Never at you. But at the people who thought they could mess with you. He had gone with you to your workplace next day, so you could find who was bothering you. But you never expected him to literally yell at the manager and slam the person who was annoying you around into walls with his capture weapon. You never saw it coming, but you wouldn't say you didn't like it, because you absolutely loved it. And you loved him, because Aizawa was your hero, and he was all you ever needed.